In today's video, I will make you play better on Bind. I filled the video with a lot of mistakes that are so commonly made in both ranked and in pro play, and we fix all of them. Let's jump in. Today's episode is sponsored by Elgato.com. At the end of the video, you'll be able to see my entire setup and what I use from them. If you play with a shotgun in hookah yourself, then you want to be effective by getting kills. That's obvious, right? But how to achieve that? Because I see many players do something like this. They sit in hookah, and now comes the mistake.
Shadows traveling.
They smoke like this. Now this not only makes the opponents uneasy to actually push into hookah, so they don't want to go in because it's unknown what's happening right here. They also have the space to pop flash through this and literally just go out, and you will have terrible crosshair placement. Don't smoke like this when you see someone holding a shotgun in hookah, or you yourself are a Brimstone or an Omen or Astra. Don't smoke yourself like this. Don't even smoke at all in hookah. So what you want to achieve is, instead of smoking over in hookah, we want to smoke different positions. So we want to make pressure on the other lines to push the players into us. So if I'm an Omen player or a Brimstone player playing in hookah with a shotgun, I want to funnel the opponents into me. So I'm gonna smoke long at the beginning of the round, and I'm gonna smoke short in the beginning of the round over here to create pressure on those two lanes, so the players have harder time going through those, or even completely will abandon it, because it seems like hookah might be actually an easier way to get into it. And now, even though I didn't use any util for me, I pushed away the players, the opponents, from my other players and go into me, where I have the trap with the shotgun over here. But even if I want to smoke hookah, if you really have to, do the smoke deeper. If you have a shotgun, do the smoke like this,
Cover going out.
because that will create still pressure, but the players coming in out of the smoke are gonna be still trapped into the choke point, which gives you an advantage, because obviously the shotguns are most beneficial when the players are packed into one position. If you smoke like this,
Shadows traveling.
players will just go out in every direction and gonna have a very hard time adjusting. If you're gonna do the smoke deeper, they're gonna be still like incentivized to use util to clear out the space out of the smoke, but you're able to hold the space more tightly, because now they have to be still in those positions over here when they cannot get out from the corners over here. Another terrible mistake that I see consistently happening in ranked is taking the TP from A to B. But you ask, huh? Why? Well, let me show you on the big picture map. I kid you not, this is happening in almost every bind game I play at Immortal level. So, beginning of the round, this is like a very default formation for both teams. The player in hookah says, oh, here multiple footsteps in front of hookah over here. And suddenly, the jet player goes like, oh, hookah players, oh, me have to go. Ding! And they TP instantly over here, when those players didn't even commit. Now, why is this a mistake? Because now you announce what is happening when it comes to the map control for the defenders. You essentially say defense on A has -1 player, defense on B has +1 player. In many of the cases, that means that hitting the B side doesn't make any sense anymore, and you don't want to go into the B side. You would rather prefer to hit the team that is actually on the side that is, well, weaker. And because we get the info about the -1 on the A side, we're gonna rotate. So the opponents will just take the TP or just fall back straight up and join the player on short to push into the weakened side. So you want to avoid TPing as much as possible, unless your opponents are already on the B side. That's when you can actually TP. But be aware, because another common mistake that I see is happening is, let me illustrate it this way. The opponents pushed into the B side, and they are already on the B side right here, doing pressure, maybe even starting to plant. So the jet TPs from A to B. But the thing that she didn't realize is that the Astra was already flanking. When this TP happens from A to B and announces the position of the jet over here, the Astra position is compromised. Even if she was shifting, there were no traps. The player now, the Viper in this case, who shouldn't have the spike because it should be on side, is gonna now hold passively this angle over here. So she can try to kill the Astra accidentally because the Jet gave the info. Or she will just go on long and now hold this area over here because the Astra might actually go here instead of the Jet and get killed as well. So in this case, when you TP like this, the Astra now has to change the way that she's playing. So she needs to wait for the Jet to announce her position in hookah and then go. So the player, in this case the Viper, knows that the player who TP'd went into hookah and you should not expect the Astra flank. So what did we learn from this? We learned that we should not TP over here if the opponents are taking this space. This is not big enough reason to let down the defenses of the A side because the opponents might trigger a rotation towards the A side. We can consider TPing when the opponents are going to side already and did that kind of pressure. But we should not TP A to B when one of our teammates is already flanking. The biggest mistake that I see on Bind happening all the time, in both ranked and in pro play, is Spookah. Spookah, like spike and hookah combined. Now I guess you kinda understand where I'm going with this with. When people attack B side in Bind, they will typically do a split, like a 2 players on long, 3 players on hookah, sometimes 1 player on long, 4 players on hookah, sometimes 3 players on long, 2 players on hookah. But somehow they always end up with taking the spike into hookah, and then you get unlucky, you lose the spike over here, and it's unrecoverable. It's so hard to get it back. People start TPing from A to B when you lose the spike, and it's a absolute chaos because once the defenders know that the spike was lost in hookah, they will go all in. They will try to pincer you and TP and just get into this position. So let me fix it for you. If you want to call a split on B but still have a player on A short like the Viper over here, that is fine. Do a 3-1-1 formation. So then you push with long, with the players on long going in first. So they have to take the spike because they can always TP it back to A when the Viper takes control of the A because of potential TPs, right? So let's say the Raze has one job, be late. She doesn't execute. He's the lurker essentially to go into hookah very, very late. The players from long are the ones that are gonna have to push first. So the green arrow goes first with the spike. And then the player from short, he is the last one to do anything substantial. So the order is green, yellow, blue. That is the order where the players have to go in. Now, the thing is that the players from long have to be very vocal on what's happening. When they go into this area and they feel like they don't want to push onto side, they need to tell the Raze that they're gonna TP to A. Because when that happens, she has 2 options, either go back to market and join the Viper or lurk into hookah late. But if we actually feel like we're gonna execute and we're pushing here from long towards side, so we're gonna have the Jet, the Brimstone and the Sova go together, that's the moment for other pieces of our team to move as well. So let's say we're here in Garden, we're pushing to side, the Jet dashed in, we already created pressure. Now, this is the moment for Raze to strike. Why? Because the player in hookah is now trapped. He has to help his teammate on site or leave him, tell the Cypher to fall back and not even fight this, and the Raze has to hide in hookah and try to wait for the other Raze to come in. Now, when this happens, when you push like this, the Raze is gonna go a little bit later, use the util to clear out hookah and make the pincer movement. So you're able to do this and just essentially isolate the players on the B side and have advantage at the combat. Because now you have the numbers that is either 3 versus 1 on Cypher or 4 versus 1 on the Raze, because this player is most likely cut off with a smoke. Remember that executing through hookah is incredibly inconvenient. You have to go through a small choke point with most likely traps through it, jump down, not be accurate while jumping down, which gives time to your opponents to kill you. That's why it's so important to understand that the players from long need to create pressure first before you jump out of hookah. It's always long first, hookah second. So it makes sense to have more players on long than in hookah. What is a very common occurrence as well is when typically you do a 3-1-1 formation and you go to long over here and you do something to initiate the attack. So you just like do a drone towards side, do a recon arrow backside, throw util on the smokes on side, and you indicate that you're gonna be going in. Maybe the jet will dash and instantly die as well. That might trigger the rotation from the A players to just take the TP. If that's the case, look how important it is now to have the spike on long. Because if those two players happen to TP, you give an information that the players from A side, the two players from A side, are now nowhere there. That means that you have smaller defense on the A side, which is the logical conclusion to hit. So because of those TP going over here, you can take the spike and take the TP towards showers. When that happens, the player from hookah is not getting pincered because he can be playing smart very late or be in market even. So live his life, join the Viper, and now push the side completely together with the players teleporting going into showers and two players also joining from short. So even when you're in a 4v5, you still have a chance to win this round because you know that two players left the A side and there's most likely only one player on A. What is a very common occurrence as well is when typically you do a 3-1-1 formation and you go to long over here and you do something to initiate the attack. So you just like do a drone towards side, do a recon arrow backside, throw util on the smokes on side, and you indicate that you're gonna be going in. Maybe the jet will dash and instantly die as well. That might trigger the rotation from the A players to just take the TP. If that's the case, look how important it is now to have the spike on long. Because if those two players happen to TP, you give an information that the players from A side, the two players from A side, are now nowhere there. That means that you have smaller defense on the A side, which is the logical conclusion to hit. So because of those TP going over here, you can take the spike and take the TP towards showers. When that happens, the player from hookah is not getting pincered because he can be playing smart very late or be in market even. So live his life, join the Viper, and now push the side completely together with the players teleporting going into showers and two players also joining from short. So even when you're in a 4v5, you still have a chance to win this round because you know that two players left the A side and there's most likely only one player on A. When it comes to a 4-1 split, which is also very effective for ranked, is like very similar plan. You can push with the 4 players, take control of long. It's very easy because you have 4 players. You can just dump util, run at them, or just trade 1 by 1, and you still have the advantage if you go 1 for 1. And the player from hookah has its job very, very clearly like specified. You need to be incredibly late. You are waiting for the pressure to happen on long. Very similar to the 2-2-1 formation, but if the players from long feel like they don't want to go, they TP and they leave the Viper to do her job as a lurker. If they destroyed like Cypher util, if they destroyed any traps or the camera, then suddenly the player from long B kind of feels uneasy because he has no information anymore, but they know that the 4 players TP'd, so the player from CT will most likely rotate or the player from hookah will rotate. And if that will happen, the Viper can take the space because those people just TP'd away. And now you have also still the spike with you, so you can dictate how you play. If that's the case, Viper can jump down because the traps were destroyed and the Cypher was also probably rotating off. She can get the info and the players from showers can go up again back to B or just take the route through showers to short, take the spike through the TP and now go towards the space that the Viper took. So what did we learn? We learned that the green team takes the spike. The green team goes through long and their job is to create pressure and execute. So once that happens and the team crosses this line over here, the player in front of hookah or the players in front of hookah have to go in and join the green team. So yellow second, green first. If we have a lurker that is somewhere on A short, he's gonna be the blue one and his job is to react once green and yellow do enough pressure, which triggers the rotation. If the players from the opposing team are taking the TP, that's the moment for the blue player to go in onto short. If that doesn't happen, but yet he hears players leaving to make a rotation through CT, that's a moment for him to also try to build up pressure by taking space on A and directing the informations to green and yellow on what to do next. Should they go back take the TP to showers, or should they still attack B and this blue player is gonna go very, very late into CT to backstab players. Another set of mistakes that I see happening on Bind is on the attack side when it comes to the A side. There's a lot of nuance to it actually, how to smoke and how to take space on the A side, which is not something that many people in ranked understand. So let's dive in and let's talk about those mistakes. The most common mistakes while attacking the A sides are two things. One, not understanding who goes first through showers and through short, and two, not understanding how to put smokes because of the way that you attack the site. If it's a split, it's gonna be different smokes than it's a 5-man push, and it's gonna be different smokes if you're going with a 4-1 attack, for example. So let's fix those mistakes. So this is, for example, one of the simplest way to play this map. You play a 4-1 split on attack on A. So 4 players go from short and 1 player comes from showers. So 4 and 1. This player, because he's alone, his job is to go very, very late. So the green team is gonna go first and build up pressure, and then the red team, so the lurker, is gonna go late into showers, make sure that he's not dead before this team does the pressure. Now the thing is, when you're doing a push like this, it's important to not smoke off your player in showers. So what do I mean by that? If we're doing the smokes, for the love of God, don't do a smoke over here. Because if you do this, this player in shower is now isolated from the team, and players who are playing in triple, for example, are now able to focus their efforts on fighting the showers player because they cannot be seen from sight. That's why it's so important to smoke like this. For example, over here, to make sure that the player from showers can build up map control after the team is already doing pressure and coming towards site. So now you're able to push into showers and you're able to kinda attack with the rest of the team, because when we're starting to plant, and let's say that this raise is planting over here, then if someone swings it through the smokes, you can help with the crossfire on contact. But that is not doable if the smokes are gonna be like this, for example, and now not only you're not able to help the team when they're planting, the players from backside can either focus on fighting the shower guy or straight up play in the smokes and spam the planter, and you're not able to help. Now let's talk about a different way of attacking the A side, which is gonna be a 3-2 split, which means that the teams are pushing in unison to gather space in both short and showers. But the problem is that you have to meet in agreement at some point, and that means they're gonna play a little bit different than in the 4-1, because the job of the players that are going showers is to take control of showers instead of lurking into showers, which means at the beginning of the round, the team of the Brimstone and Cypher need to work with their util over here, so probably a camera, cages, maybe the steam beacon, the molly, to gather this space and control it, get the orb control, and then wait for the team from short to then push so they can pincer at the same time. Now this is important because there's a stark contrast from the previous style. If you go with the 4-1, the player in showers is not moving into showers unless the team is already on site. But if you play 3-2, then you go here, you take the space over here, you kind of wait to see maybe the opponents will make a mistake and will peek out and you can get a free kill, while those people here in showers are gathering this space and hopefully successfully they push into this location. Once you are holding this area and holding this area, you will tell everyone to push, and that's the moment where both of those teams are attacking at the same time into lamps and site and onto this area from showers, and then you do the same smokes that I explained before. So you do this, and you're able to push the site. Now, very important as well, you try to avoid pushing this smoke like this, specifically when you play with compositions with flashes, because that allows your opponents to take this space and push out of that smoke to punish your flashes. But if you are able to push them a little bit further down the line, then they are not as eager to peek out, and you are easier to you have easier way of clearing the angles, because now you can see this angle when you go out of showers, and you don't have to worry, because if you have the smoke like this and you go out of the showers, now potentially a player can easily just play on contact of someone on bench and swing you from multiple angles over here from this smoke. So the Cypher has a hard time trading you, right? But if the smoke is placed deeper and you have the same situation, so someone is holding on contact over here and someone swings outside of this smoke, it's easier for Cypher to have the control over that and trade you if necessary, or just double peek with you and have an easier way of getting no casualties at all. An incredibly common mistake was happening when Sage was meta on Bind, and she was walling off showers like every time at the beginning of the round, like this over here, or she's just straight up just walling early like this over here in showers in the exit. And about this one, you might not even have the info that this is something like this walled unless you already taken the deep shower control. So what is the mistake here? The mistake is, one, not giving information to the rest of the team that you're blocked off in showers, right? That's already a mistake, specifically when this wall was being used early on this stage of the of showers. Why is this important? Specifically when you have two players in showers, you need to communicate that you're not able to gather the space in showers, so this team doesn't do the execute when you are still not going through showers. That's one of the biggest problems that you will see in ranked. People from short are not aware that you cannot go through showers, and they will do the execute, and then the player from bench doesn't really mind showers because he knows that the wall is not broken or is broken at a certain point, so he can hold the players from short, which typically ends up being like this. You will have 3 players on A side because that's the most common setup, and if the wall is still up, this means that instead of a 5v3, because you have 5 players over here and you're attacking one side, but because the wall was either destroyed late or not destroyed at all, suddenly you have a 3v3 instead, because those 2 players over here in showers are essentially dead because they have no impact. So you're gonna have 3 players pushing out of short, coming into an absolutely deadly crossfire from the 3 players playing on A side, because they don't have to worry about the pressure from the other angle, which is showers. This is why showers control is such a important piece of map control that you have to fight for every single time. Now let's talk about the more Braindead approach to attacking A side, which is essentially a 5-man push short or a 4-man push short and a Cypher lurking onto B side or controlling market. The outcome is the same because the point is you're not controlling showers at all. But you have to do something about it, and that's where the mistake comes from. Because the most common mistake here is people are just like smoking like this, pushing through short, and that's it. And its job's done. And the person in showers just freely controls showers. If it's Sage, it's even worse because that wall is gonna be up and there's nothing you can worry about. So those people will focus again on the players coming in from short. So how do we fix this? We fix it by putting fake pressure through showers. So at the beginning of the round, the controller needs to put a smoke towards showers. So for example, if we have a brimstone, and we should have on bind, we're putting a smoke like this. This smoke allows you to build pressure because the person standing in showers over here is not able to control this space at all. And it builds up enough space to push out into showers and disrupt the map control for the defender. Now, if you're a player like Brimstone, you're able to still smoke it like this, right? And now you're able to push onto this side and try to fight as many people as possible. Now, it is okay as well to smoke like this right now because you know that you don't have a player in shower. So you do the one way on the track to cover also heaven. If you're a Brimstone, you cover this. Over here, those 2 smokes connect. And because of the fact that now you have 3 smokes all being used, you build up fake pressure on showers. You're able to just attack with 4 players coming in from short, maybe even 5, right? As the Cypher is coming with you. And you don't really care about what's happening here in this area. It's all about just putting uncertainty for the player who's playing bench. So he can always think that, oh no, I can be pushed from showers because I'm not controlling it because of the smoke building up pressure. Now, if you're playing an Omen, that's also not a problem because you don't need 3 smokes to do this strategy at all. You can just put the smokes differently. Like, you put the one smoke in showers in the same way to build up the pressure, and the other smoke is just a one smoke that connects the walls and the boxes over here. It's still visible from heaven. That's something you have to live with. The most important thing is to not allow the player from bench to see side through a gap over this wall here. So in game, an early smoke in showers, let's say we're starting at a barrier drops, someone smokes, immediately showers. I'm not even able to see what's happening over here on this position because this is already smoked, and the opponents are able to build up all of this map control and go into showers, check the corners left, right over here for free because of the smoke. They don't have to worry about any crossfires, and then explode from the smoke, which builds a lot of pressure, right? And now when it comes to smoking here on this side, you have to just only worry about someone killing you for a gap here, right? So the smoke needs to be more on the left than the right. So less space has to be visible over here, like this. There cannot be a gap here. And here, from this spot, well, you know, I think it's okay. So now, with all that we learned, what do we do with the defense? Because the cloves, the omens, and the brimstones as well should be using their smoke at the beginning of the round, but definitely the ones that have a cooldown. So, omen and clove, you are making a mistake if you're not using a smoke at the beginning of the round. Because the only smoke that I see at a mortal level that is appearing constantly is this one over here on short. That is not even a one-way because it's just on top of the box and that's it, right? But the extremities of this map are so important. Controlling long B and controlling showers is pivotal for the defense, because you delay the potential execute and you gather more informations to be just better informed, essentially, to what's the plan of the attackers. And you can get that by using a smoke early. So if you play on A with like a clove, you should be smoking. Let's use the clove smoke over here. Where's the clove? Here we go. You should be using a smoke in showers that is building up pressure on the attackers. Now, essentially, they are not able to go into showers early or gather information what's happening in showers because all of that vision is denied. So you push people to use util to control showers, or even more than they planned, and or potentially you delay the attack by 15 seconds, which is very important if they do, for example, a 3-2 or a 4-1 push, because now the lurker cannot go for this smoke freely. The two players going into showers cannot go that fast as the players on short, and because of that the entire attack can be mismanaged easily with just this one smoke. And also think about it this way: the smoke that I showed you to make it uneasy for the defenders to control showers now is being countered by this smoke over here, because if you have an attacker use this smoke over here but you put as your own smoke as defender over this spot, then essentially you counter this smoke because they have to push through your own smoke first. So that's like a counterplay. Let's apply the same logic now to long B, because that's also something that I typically don't see. If you play on long B, you can easily use one of the smokes just early to deny control of players from long B. But now the one thing that you have to be really cautious about here, because ideally you would like to put the smoke like this, so you have easy way of holding the smoke if someone exits it, right? Because it's not that easy to go out. But if you do the smoke too much, you're gonna get killed from long, and I'll show you in a second how. But if you do it too deep, then you give too much space. So something in the middle ground like this is the best. So from the attacker's perspective, is like if you smoke like this early, you don't really know what's happening on long. The only problem is like when the attacker starts and he instantly jumps over here and now can see over the smoke. As you can see, you don't want this gap to appear too much, so you want to move the smoke a little bit right with the omen over here like this. But you have to be very careful with a brimstone smoke because they are smaller in diameter, so you want to push them a little bit more towards long over here. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. It really helps a lot. Leave some likes and comments. I always answer every single comment. And if you want to talk to me live, you can also do that on Twitch, where I stream almost daily with, well, a lot of Yoru play, because that's my main character, as you can see here on this clutch. Was a nice clutch, no? All right, thank you and see you guys. Bye-bye. And now we have a chance to see what I'm actually, you know, working at. This is my entire setup. 2 key lights from Elgato on the left and the right. You will see also the stream decks. This one is for the gaming PC. This one is for the streaming PC. On the middle one is for controlling the OBS. The right one is to control the teleprompter, but also the OBS. On the teleprompter, I read the chat and look at the camera at the same time because the camera is mounted in the back. And obviously I have to use a microphone. So I use the Elgato DX, which is fantastic. And it's on the Elgato mic arm LP, so low profile. So it's hidden underneath the monitor. And my famous dick pedal. Yeah. That's what I use to speak in the game. Haha. All right. All of that you can buy with a discount with my code.